Hey, this is Thomas, and in this video you're going to learn an easy way to talk to the camera without a script. It's very nice to be able to do this, to have a frictionless way of talking to camera without having to prepare a bunch of notes, without having to spend a few hours drafting up a copy of a script that you're going to say word to word, or be using a teleprompter and be reading from that. And also having a slight kind of robotic appearance that you're trying to appear authentic and spontaneous, but actually you're reading a script. So while scripted videos have their place and they are great, and some of the videos on this channel are scripted, it's also great to be able to do this and just press record and deliver. The reason I'm making this video is because Tyree mentioned it in his day 14 video in the Facebook group of the 30-day Talking to Camera Challenge.
It's day 14 and I feel like the videos that I'm making are a lot better than when I started off. However, one of the things that has been a little bit difficult for me in creating these videos without a script or having notes right next to me is gathering my thoughts and putting them together succinctly, putting them together in a way that engages people in the video and doing it with pace.
So the way that you talk to a camera without a script is by having a very basic structure. Now this is going to sound really basic, but what you're about to hear is the structure that I've used in dozens of videos, some of which have got hundreds of thousands of views and made a bunch of sales. So it's not to say that this is the most remarkable structure in the world, but it works. So it is simply intro, 3 to 5 bullet points, outro. However, the difference between having that and not having any structure is massive. And then also the difference between that bullet point structure and having a huge script is huge too, in terms of time and also connection with the audience. So I believe it's a really, really good sweet spot. So your intro is going to be introducing the topic with hopefully some kind of hook or delivering the promise of the title. So if the video is called How to Talk to Camera Without a Script, you're probably going to want to say, in this video you're going to learn how to talk to camera without a script. Then your bullet points are clearly defined, kind of 3 to 5 tips, steps, hacks, whatever you want, and then your outro. So that's the structure you're going to be using. The next step is to make sure you link the points together, which is going to help with the flow of your video, and it's also going to help you memorize those points. So let's say point 1, let's say you're making a video about how to mow the grass. And point number, or like step number 1 is prepare your lawnmower. Then step number 2 is assess the lawn. Make sure you remove different objects from the lawn. So you might link those two together. Very easy in your mind, this is step-by-step one. So it's like you've prepared the lawnmower and then you're walking, so you might visualize this. You're walking outside and you see the lawn and then you're gonna check the lawn. So whilst this is second nature to somebody who actually knows the process very easily, like that's literally what they would do step by step, sometimes it's a bit harder if you're giving more abstract tips that aren't in any order. So this step is really important there, to just link those tips together in your mind. And then that is going to provide a segue in between each tip. So you're going to say like after tip 1, and that leads us on to tip number 2, which is. And if you have a, and that leads us on to tip number between every tip, it's going to really have a nice flow to your video, and also it's going to allow you to be more confident in memorizing those points. After you've done that, and now it gets into a couple of slightly more energetic tips or kind of general tips. After you've done that, you're going to really want to trust in the process here. So this is extra applicable if you're doing a video like this, which is in 1 take. So I plan to do this video and literally not edit it at all. It's kind of a proof of concept, like you can do this. And also it's much easier. Sometimes I spend hours editing my videos, sometimes I just want to put it out there, and that's what I'm doing with this one. If you want to do that, then you need to have trust in what you're saying. You need to kind of know that you're going to say the right thing. And that's obviously easier said than done. But let's say there's a point, you're in tip number 3. and you're like, you're talking, but you think, this kind of anxiety starts building. I don't know where I'm going with this. Just try and segue to the next thing and keep going. And this is a muscle that you build with time, that you've said one thing, you're not quite sure how it's going to go to the next thing. A lot of the videos that I'll see in the group, when people get to this stage, especially if they're in the first few days of doing this, they'll say it out loud and they'll be like, oh, I know this video sucks and I know I don't know where I'm going and I'm losing my train of thought here, but oh yeah, that's what I was going to say, and this, right? But obviously, it's fine to do that in the group, but if you're going to do that in an actual YouTube video, most people don't want to do that. And it's kind of showing nerves. So at this point, instead of doing that, you can take a breath and move on to the next thing. Take a pause. That's really just going to help smooth over those rough spots. And if you practice doing this, it becomes a muscle, as I said, and it can be something that can really give you confidence in being able to make videos in one take. The next thing is to try to put your energy in your feet or in your body. When we're talking to the camera, I think it's very, very tempting and very, very easy to kind of give your power to the camera, to give your power to who's watching. And you can kind of, you can be talking and talking and talking, and it's almost as if somebody pushes you over, you might fall over, right? Energetically speaking, you're talking without any groundedness, any base. And that makes pausing and collecting your thoughts very difficult. But if you imagine and when I say energy, some people are going to be like, click off, right? But other people are going to love it. To kind of help address both types of person, when I say energy, it can also just be awareness. Like right now I'm talking to the camera and I'm kind of feeling what's going on in my feet. I'm like wiggling my toes whilst talking to the camera. So that can also be referred to as energy. If you're doing that, then it can really create this literal sense of groundedness where you're feeling grounded and you're not kind of giving all of your awareness to the camera and what you're saying and being off kilter. So if you do that, it can really help. And something that helps with that and being able to do that is doing a breathing exercise before talking to the camera and during, where you just occasionally take a few deep breaths and keep going. You might think it looks weird or feels really weird, but it doesn't. People do it all the time. We all breathe. And if you're keeping all your breaths as short as you can, eventually you're just going to build yourself up into a state of anxiety. And you might notice that the best public speakers as well, they might do that every now and then in between a couple of points, and it really adds a lot of gravity to what they're saying. So kind of giving you two ends of the spectrum here. One is being grounded, keeping your energy for yourself, allowing yourself to breathe. And then the other thing is having a nice structure, linking points together. And those two things together can create the ability to talk to camera quite easily without a script. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you'd like to learn more, I have a cheat sheet, which is in the description. That's completely free. Just enter your email, send that over to you. And also you'll see a link to join the 30-day Talking on Camera challenge. So I'll either see you guys there or I'll see you guys in the next video. Stay creative. Bye-bye.